What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, the number one independent fan channel dedicated to Manchester United and England, as we are currently mid-World Cup. We are approaching the last game of the group stage, and it's a big one. It's a local rivalry. It's England versus Wales for a chance to go through to the knockout stages of the World Cup. We are going to discuss the massive game tomorrow night in depth, of course, but before I do that, I need to introduce our guest. Sam is on the show. How are you? And has the World Cup lived up to expectations in a footballing sense, do you think?
I mean, I didn't have any expectations going into this World Cup, as we covered on the preview and the countdown. So it's probably where it's at. There's been a lot of political stuff, a lot of grandstanding and hypocrisy and bollocks and all that sort of stuff. Some of the football has been really good. I didn't watch the Ghana Korea game. That turned out to be an absolute mental game. I didn't watch the Serbia game, and that turned out to be a mental game. Sat down to watch the Brazil game, was boring for 80 odd minutes, and then came to life at the end. So there you go. That's football right now. And yeah, the England game against USA bored the crap out of me.
I think one thing for certain we can definitely say is that the World Cup has been full of surprises. Like some of the games that have gone on, you just have no idea. When Japan beat Germany, you're like, holy shit. And then you play Costa Rica, who's like the lowest rank in the tournament, the underdogs. And then Costa Rica beat Japan. And then like Saudi and Argentina, it's been absolutely mad. It's very hard to predict, but obviously Brazil are getting another win today. Brazil and France, the only two teams, I think, qualified in the last 16. I think them two teams will probably be in the final. Just my kind of early prediction by the looks of it. Don't forget, guys, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well before we start the official show. For anyone currently watching, we have 2 days left of our Movember challenge this month, raising money for a mental health charity called Mind. We're currently on £150, I think, which means we're £50 off our target. Any donations are absolutely welcome, and thank you to the people who've already donated. Do we have the QR code on screen, Sam?
No. Let me put it on.
No. So Sam will put that on, but if not, the link is in the video description. So not to worry about that. A couple of days left. We really want to hit that target. So please, even if you can share it to friends, whatever, it's we appreciate it regardless. We're going to do some quick fire World Cup, Sam. I'll give you a second just whilst you're uploading that QR code.
I could do it while we talk, so you go for it.
And they say men can't multitask. So, quick fire World Cup. Obviously, I'm going to ask you a series of questions related to the World Cup. What I want to know is 5 players from the current... I've said World Cup so many times. 5 players from the current World Cup who have impressed you, would you say?
Mbappe, but... Can we count him because we know what he does?
Oh, he's unreal, isn't he?
Yeah,
unreal.
That guy is insane.
I heard Rio, and I was watching Rio and Gary Lineker last night, and I heard them describe him as like a hybrid of Thierry Henry and R9 together.
I'd go with that.
I thought,
I'd definitely go with that. Bellingham was really good for the first game for England. Not so great in the other game. The first game, a lot of England players. Second game.
Yeah, crazy, wasn't
it? Brazil. I think Casemiro's been solid. I think he's been really good for Brazil. He's been really decent.
A goal today as well.
Richarlison as well for Brazil. His goal.
Yeah.
I think he's been really, really good. Messi's been under par, bar 2 moments of genius.
That second one, though, you can't deny it. That was fucking
But he didn't
unreal.
do it. He did nothing. Like the entire game, did absolutely nothing. And then how many have I got? One more. Trying to think of somebody. Who's that guy for Japan?
I can't remember. I know exactly who you're on about. I can't remember the guy's name.
He's been good. He's been very, very good.
Yeah. My shout would be because obviously did the watch along.
Honourable mention to that Musiala from Germany.
That's who I was just about to say. Then I did the watch along for that Spain-Germany game. He's electric when he gets hold of that, like dribbling ability, unreal. So that would be one of my picks at least. Based on what you've seen so far, which team has looked the best, do you think?
I think France.
Better than Brazil?
Yeah, because Brazil looked awful today. I couldn't string anything together until the sort of last 10 minutes when it all came and they managed to finish Switzerland off, but it didn't look fantastic. Whereas France have looked really good in both games, haven't put a foot wrong. Spain struggled against Germany at times. Like, it wasn't a dominant sort of display by any means. So yeah, I'd say France be the only team that I think have showed any sort of dominance. Argentina have been awful. England have had one good game. So yeah, Denmark, I thought they'd be dark horses, but again, they've struggled. They haven't sort of kicked on. So
can I just say, in that Spain game as well, right? I said it right from the start. As soon as I saw both lineups, I said Spain and Germany lack that killer number 9, and that's why I think they will not go far in the tournament. I said I don't know why he hasn't started with Morata up top. He started with Asensio in the middle, and I was just scratching my head thinking,
they haven't got a quality one though, have they? They haven't got.
They haven't, but I was screaming for Morata. Just play Morata. Like, he's a number 9. He offers something different, and you don't have to play Asensio there. Like, I'd rather play Morata there. As soon as he brought him on, he scored. I was literally saying in the watch along, I was like, why is it taking so long until now to bring him on? And then Germany as well. Germany brought on I can't remember the guy's name who scored for them. It's like Falkberg or something like that. He's got quite a few goals.
Yeah.
So something along the lines of that. They brought him on. Hansi Flick did the same thing, and then they went and scored. So then it kind of negated the result then. So I think that's what will be the Achilles heel, the fact they don't have that killer number 9, both teams. Last question, we'll bring it back to England slightly on this. Would you rather have England's current crop of players heading into a tournament or the golden generation, and why?
Who's the manager?
Whoever. You pick your manager. Just a crop of players I want to base it on.
If it's Southgate, then it doesn't really matter. Like,
you fucking hate Southgate.
I do.
You hate Southgate, don't you?
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it doesn't really matter if the current manager's still in charge, because I think you could have Man City in front of Southgate and he'd still find a way to play pragmatic football. I just don't think he's up to the job. If you get a quality manager in, I think I'd rather have today's crop, because I think it's more of a team than the golden generation. I thought it was a lot of individuals. I think Gary Neville and Rio used to speak about it, didn't they? They beat United bit, beat the Chelsea bit, beat the Arsenal bit, and they worked together as a team, which is probably why they didn't win anything or get close to winning anything, because it was all about individuals. So I think as a team, they're more of a unit, but I just think we need a better manager with better tactics. I think we could win something, but we are where we are at the minute. So
that I can say that is going to get clipped up if we win the World Cup. That what you just said.
I want to be proved wrong. Like, Gareth,
of course.
Gareth, prove me wrong, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, I think the Wales game tomorrow will be super interesting for that, because you've had kind of two different indicators. You've had the USA game, which is kind of flat, a little bit boring, trying to save points, and then you've got the Iran game, which was the complete opposite of that. So then, what's this local, kind of rivalry going to be like? And that's exactly what we're here for, the preview. Let's turn our focus to that. It's England versus Wales, 7 o'clock kickoff. Bale versus Kane, Swans versus Sheep, Gavin and Stacey versus Coronation Street. That's right, you get me for free. I'm here Monday to Friday. It's the big one, the local rivalry. Wales had a tough start in the campaign, drawing to USA, losing to Iran right at the depth, and losing the goalkeeper towards the end of the game. Is in that. Pretty sure the goalkeeper got a red card for absolutely rugby tackling one of their players. I don't know if you saw that, but they give a yellow card initially.
Yeah, it's just can't do that, man. Can't do that as a goalkeeper.
Honestly. Yeah, really bad. So Wayne Hennessy won't be playing there. It'll be Danny Ward, the Leicester goalkeeper. And, in previous tournaments, the Welsh have shocked many, many people. The most noticeable one, I think, coming in the Euros when they reached the semi-finals and then eventually got beat by Portugal, who obviously went on to win the tournament. Now, obviously, the standout players, Sam, Gareth Bale, but as supporters of United and regular watchers of the Premier League and the Championship, we know a lot of their players as well, the Welsh players, the likes of Ben Davies, Daniel James, who obviously played for United as well. So both teams are familiar with each other. They know a lot of each other's players. England themselves been a bit of a roller coaster lately. Prior to the tournament, was in poor form, drawing and losing a lot of games. We then smash a compact, organised Iran 6-2 and then draw to America. So a lot of variations there. It's up and down, literally like a roller coaster, a bit like United at times. I think ultimately it comes down to quality in these kind of games. I think the players that we've got will do the job. But the one side I want to focus on, I'm going to get into the questions in a second, is the pressure in the game. The pressure on these kind of games are massive, especially when it's like a local rivalry. Like, I remember Brazil. Do you remember the World Cup in 2014 when it was at the hometown? Do you remember the score? They got beat by Germany, like 7-1.
Oh, was it 7-1?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I think it was it was either 6-1 or 7-1, something like that. And it was just the pressure behind them. I know England aren't in the hometown. But sometimes these games, it can get to him. And I think as long as you manage the pressure going into that with the right mindset, I think we'll be all right. In our last 10 meetings, Wales have only won one game, and that was in a friendly. They haven't beat us in the Euros or World Cup before, so we've got that in our favour. And in regards to the injury updates, only James Maddison, I think, he could be in contention to get some minutes against Wales, which would be nice for us. But apart from that, everybody else is fit. Wales have the keeper out, and I think Joe Allen's back for them. So, yeah, be scared of that if you will.
Massive player there. Massive player.
Yeah, crazy quality. Are you confident?
He's going to score now, isn't he?
Yeah. You know how it works. Are you confident going into this one?
No.
Nope.
After that USA game, I thought tactically Southgate got it wrong. Didn't make subs early enough and change the game. Brought on the wrong subs when he did. Jordan Henderson for Jude Bellingham was a weird substitution. Didn't understand that. It's like he was settling for the draw. It's like Bellingham is going to create something. He's a threat. And you bring on Jordan Henderson, who is known for his defensive midfield sort of style. So it's a weird decision. You've got Phil Foden still sitting on a bench, not being played in the team when he's arguably your best player that you've got, I think. And you're not playing him, not finding a way to get him into the team. And you're not changing Mount out, like dropping him out and putting Foden in a 10. So tactically, it makes me nervous. And obviously, Wales are always up for a game, aren't they, against England?
Yeah.
Always. Doesn't matter if they've lost against Iran, it don't fucking matter. When it comes to England, they are always up for the game. They always seem to be willing to fight and like go for it. So that's worrying as well. Because if we were playing, pick a random smaller team, nation from across the world, I wouldn't be as worried. Whereas Wales, they're going to be up for it. So that's the two sort of things where I'm like, I don't feel as confident as I would if it was against, say, I'm trying to think of a nation that would be the equivalent size of Wales.
Like I don't know if that would be the right one, actually. That's Serbia, quite a good team.
Yeah.
Someone like a not Poland? Maybe
yeah,
smaller.
Yeah. Poland with Poland minus Lewandowski.
They've got one star. They've got one star player like Wales have with Bale, but the rest of the team's a bit
Poland. Yeah, if it was Poland, I'd feel way more confident. But with Wales, they're always up for a fight against England. So.
Well, one piece of evidence we've got to go off in a similar kind of stature was the Scotland game in the Euros, which obviously we drew. Bit of a dull game, very cagey and tight. Do you see this game going a similar way, do you think?
Yeah, I could definitely see it coming another way. It's a problem with Southgate. Like, he's got such attacking talent available to him, and he doesn't put the foot on the throat, as it were, when he can. Like, when he has the opportunity to do so, he doesn't do it. He goes with the safe option, or he plays for a draw, or he plays to not lose rather than playing to win and to beat teams. And that's the worrying part for me with Southgate in charge. I think we have talent. We've got Jude Bellingham. We've got Phil Foden. Marcus Rashford.
You said yourself Bellingham had a poor game.
Yeah. No, USA. Of course. No, but he's 18. The kid's 18, so he's going to have poor games. So it's going to happen with like young players. But you can't deny he's a talent.
Of course, yeah.
And then Phil Foden, I don't understand why he's not starting for England week in, week out. When for City he's absolutely destroying it all the time. So that baffles me. And you've got Harry Kane, who keeps dropping deep, and I know that's what he does for Spurs, but he has Son, who does the link-up work for him. I don't think he has that connection with either of Saka or who played on
Sterling.
Sterling. I don't think he has that with them. So when he drops deep and then they go forward, there's nobody in the box for them to get past to because he's dropping deep. So it's a weird tactical mix. It doesn't work. And I think Saka is in the team because defensively he does very, very well, and he does exactly as he's told. Like, he doesn't try and make stuff happen and then it doesn't come off. Like, he'll only play something or do something if he knows 100% that's going to come off. Whereas Foden will try something and it could come off, it might not, but he'll hit those like line splitting passes or make a run, and it may or may not happen, and he creates something. Whereas Saka and Sterling don't really do that. They do as they're told, which is why they start, and that's where I see
There's a couple of things I want to pick at you on that. So the USA game, I agree with in terms of Harry Kane's performance, but I think that's just because of how I think USA were really good in that game, defensive flair. Andy was on it as a group, a lot of athletic players, quick, strong players, and he was getting to the ball. The press was much better. We was a little bit lackluster in possession. And in the final third, I think Kane can have that link up with Sterling because we saw in the first game against Iran, Saka and Sterling both got assists from Kane, I'm pretty sure, or one of them did. I think Sterling got an assist from Kane when he whipped it in. So it can happen. It's just certain teams, when they set up, can negate that. Now, that's down to obviously Southgate, to how he deals with that and how he sets a team up to maybe bring a different personnel in to affect maybe a Rashford or someone different. I don't know. But I thought against Iran, when Kane was dropping deep, the players were benefiting from the wingers at least. It's just in the USA game, I don't think there was. And on Southgate, I said this on a stream last night to Lewis. I said, in international football, look at Spain, who won the Euros, yeah, and look at them in the World Cup when they won in 2010. They didn't play amazing football. There was 1-0s, 2-0s at absolute maximum. It wasn't beautiful attacking football. It wasn't. A lot of the international football is pragmatic and safe, and you have to kind of play like a Jose Mourinho style. That's how you win tournaments. No team in the last 10, 15 years has won a tournament playing scintillating football, attacking 3-0, 4-0. It just hasn't happened.
Brazil.
When?
Where they've won tournaments, they play. That's their whole style, is samba.
Yeah,
football.
I said last 10, 15 years, Brazil haven't won a tournament since 2002.
But it can be done. Like, you can do it. You can play scintillating.
That was a long time ago, though. Football's a different game now. Completely different game.
But they're doing it in club football all the time, so I don't understand why you can't try it in international football. You've got the players. Like, you've got the talent.
The evidence is there to go off.
I know.
No one has ever won that.
Because everybody does that style. But if somebody tries something, but nobody's willing to try that style, because everybody goes, like, you think, oh, that's pragmatic, the safe way to go, so everybody does it, so you end up with boring fucking games half the time.
But like, World Cup only comes around every 4 years, Sam.
I know, but...
So it's risky to go, right, all right, well, let's just throw everything out the window that we've done to get us to the final and the semi-finals.
Southgate has played this way throughout his career, like, throughout his managerial career, so I'm not expecting him to change his style. Like, I'm not. Like, I don't expect him to suddenly go, right, I'm playing attacking football, I'm doing this, I'm playing with a high line, blah, blah, blah. I'm not expecting him to do that. I'm just saying, this is what I want to see from England. This is what I would like to see. And that's what I don't expect Southgate to do any of it, because that's not his style. So, it's a question of, do you want to win at all costs, or do you want to be entertained and enjoy it? Which one?
I think if you want to win a World Cup or you want to win the Euros, the winning formula is the Mourinho style.
But what do you want? What do you want?
Not a lot of people. I want to win the World Cup. If that means playing like that, I'm happy.
So if you're bored out of your mind every single game,
I'm not bored out. I won't bored out of my mind against Iran.
But like, if you watch like an exciting team, it's way more fun to watch an exciting team than it is to watch.
But who's been exciting this World Cup? We were just discussing that there's not a lot of teams that have impressed. So no one has really. France maybe, Brazil's attack, but that's just because he's a world-class player in every position, pretty much in the attack. Like, there hasn't been any like teams that have played like that. What's the highest scoreline? Spain 7-0, and that was against Costa Rica, who were the worst in the tournament.
Yeah, no. Costa Rica,
I don't know. I think there's just a measurement. Like, I get where you're coming from, the angle. Like, obviously, I would love to see fucking Bellingham, Foden, all these guys come in, maybe Rashford in as well. I'd love to see these guys playing football like Man City does. I just don't think it can happen, especially when you have 4 days, 5 days to fucking set your team up in Qatar, whatever it was. I don't know. I couldn't see it happening. And he's proven formula. He's got to the final of the Euros. Yes, he lost that, but he got to the semi-finals as well of the World Cup against Croatia. And it's fine margins.
But he should have won both games. Like,
the Italy game, definitely.
He took his foot off the gas and was settling for 1-0 win, and you can't do that. You can't do that in the final. Like, it's not doable. And then Croatia as well. We should have killed that game off way before they came back and scored goals. So it's just he could have won both of those games and he didn't, and that's what I judge him on. Yeah, you got all the way there, but you didn't win it. You didn't get across the line. So
I think it's when by the time this World Cup's over, I think then the criticism and the talk about Southgate will intensify, because it's, if he goes out to Wales tomorrow or he goes out in the last 16, it's going to be people talking about it, of course. How would you set England up tomorrow, Sam, to play against Wales? How would you, let's say you are the manager tomorrow, we've just been talking about the difference then. How would you set us up to go beat Wales?
I'd bring in Foden as a 10 instead of Mount. I'd drop Mount. I'd bring either a Rashford in or somebody like that on one of the wings. So drop either Saka or drop
I'd drop Sterling.
Yeah, either one. Drop one of them. I'd bring in Kyle Walker as well, because I thought Trippier was poor against USA.
It was bad, yeah.
So I'd bring in Kyle Walker. I think you inject a little bit something else into there. Midfield, I think, is good. I think Bellingham had a bad game, obviously. But I think overall his quality is fantastic.
Only 19 though, isn't it? Like, it's one of them.
Declan Rice, I thought it was fine against USA. I don't think he was shit, but I don't think.
So it's a bit sluggish though.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know what it was, but a little bit off. Like.
But I think the midfield is good. I like that Bellingham Rice midfield. Shaw, again, I don't know what you do with Shaw, because he's going forward and his ball progression is fantastic and it's great to see, but like, he'll have defensive lapses of concentration, and he does it a lot, and it does my head in.
You think he did that in the USA game?
He did it a couple of times. There was a time where what's the guy, McKennie, there was a thing that he came in,
Weston McKenna.
Yeah. And he was unmarked in the middle of the box, and he's Shaw's man, because Shaw watched him walk past him, like jog past him, and he just watched him, and he just had all this space, and he ran into the 6-yard box. He just had all this space. It's like, why are you not tracking your man? Like, what? Why are we not doing this?
Do you think it could be a case that because you've seen it, you're picking up on it more because you're paying more attention to it? Like, if I don't know if you've ever had this, but when we're talking about a car, like, I don't know, a Toyota or something like that, and you're driving about, you're more likely to see it more because you've been talking about it. Like, because I think Trippier had a lot of.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that is maybe a small defect in Luke Shaw's game, but I think overall, him and Maguire in that USA game, I thought they were our better players.
I thought Maguire was our best player.
Fantastic.
I thought he was absolutely on it. But again, because I notice it week in, week out when he at United, he does it all the time, and it does my head in then. And he does the same for England. But Maguire, he was our best player by far in the USA game. Yeah. Solid defensively. Got his head on every single thing. I don't think he missed a single header. So exactly what you want from Maguire. But Shaw worries me, and Trippier had a bad game, so I'd bring in Kyle Walker. I'm hoping he's fit. I
think he's one of our most important players, Kyle Walker, honestly. Yeah. I look at the games in the Euros, and the amount of times his recovery pace got us out of the shit, especially against Germany. He's super important. So I agree. I'd bring him back in. As quickly
Foden, Walker, and Rashford. I'd bring in. Drop Mount, drop Trippier, drop Sterling. That's what I'd do.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And I don't want to look too far ahead of the tournament, but if we do get past Wales and we win and we qualify top of the group, the potential opponents that we've got, Netherlands, Senegal, and Ecuador. How do you fancy our chances against them, do you think?
Senegal.
I'm not sure if you've seen much of them as a team or not.
Yeah, I watched the Netherlands games. Senegal without Mane.
Not amazing, are they?
They're not amazing, so I think they're beatable. Again, Ecuador, I think they're beatable, especially compared to the quality we've got. They've got some alright players. That Enner Valencia is a decent player, but isn't he injured? Didn't he get injured or something in the last game?
He had a knock. He's had a knock in a couple of the games, like the first 2 games,
So they don't worry me. Netherlands could be tricky. They haven't looked fantastic, like when they've played, but they've got the job done. Gakpo's got the goals. Van Dijk's looked shaky though, like he hasn't looked phenomenal. Did Dion go? Because I've not heard his name. Like when he played, did he go?
What do you mean? Did he go? Yeah. He's played. I've
not heard his name.
It's not exactly lit it up, but I think that again the system that they're playing, that kind of 3-4-3 or 3-4-1-2, however you want to call it, it's Louis van Gaal. We know as United fans, of course, we know all about Louis van Gaal football. So he hasn't been fantastic. Like, I'm sure he's been fine, but I haven't heard his name much. And you'd think somebody like that, of that caliber, you'd think he'd be able to affect a game of that. So Netherlands is probably the most worrying game where I think it could cause an issue. But the other two, I think they're beatable teams. I don't think we should fear those 2 teams. I think Netherlands is probably the more tricky one. But the other two, on paper, we should beat them. But obviously this is England.
and it never goes according to plan, and it never goes the way you think it's going to go. So.
The one thing I would identify is with Ecuador. I think they play similar in a sense, or have at least similar individuals to the USA, where they have very physical athletes, quick players who can, press the life out of you. I can't remember who it was who Ecuador played in the last game, but they was all over him, and they was the better team. Let me just see who it was, because
wasn't it a big team?
It was a big team, and Ecuador looked like the better team. I wish I could remember it. It was, it might have been Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands. Shit, yeah. It was against Netherlands, and they should have won that game. It was the better team. So that if we actually drew Ecuador in the last 16, that'd be a team I think could be a bit of a slip up. But Netherlands haven't looked amazing, if we're being honest. I want to talk about individual personnel. We've already spoken about a couple of the players already, but I want to talk about Harry Kane in particular. He was tipped as one of the favourites to win the Golden Boot. I think he got the Golden Boot in the Euros or the World Cup, one of the tournaments, but hasn't managed to get on the score sheet yet. Does that worry you at all, or do you think he'll come into it?
I think he's been involved, hasn't he? He's always, he's got a couple of assists, didn't he, in the Iran game? And he was involved in the play in the USA game, but I think nobody played well in that USA game, so you can't really begrudge him for probably not scoring because nobody else really played well either. If he doesn't score against Wales, then I think you may have to start worrying, because that's 3 games against opposition who you should be beating relatively, not easy, but relatively within your, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. We're not playing France here. We're not playing Spain at their scintillating best. This is easily beatable opposition. So yeah, if he doesn't score against Wales, that might be a worrying thing. Zoe's Media House is saying Harry Kane needs to be dropped, but who are you dropping for? Callum Wilson?
Well, I've got a controversial take on this. I'll get into it a little bit later on, but yeah, I agree with it to a certain extent on Harry Kane.
I wouldn't drop him for Callum Wilson, but then do you put Rashford in the 9 and put him out, and then put Thingy out on the left? Maybe you could do something like that. I think you give him the opportunity against Wales. I think if he doesn't score against Wales, then maybe you need to start rethinking things in the last 16. Maybe you need to change things up then. But I think you give him the opportunity against Wales. I think I would keep him in for that. But yeah, after that, I wouldn't. If Southgate changed things, I wouldn't be like, why is he doing that? I'd be like, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I think you've answered this question, but a lot of people calling for Phil Foden to get minutes, including yourself. Yeah. What position would you play him in? Did you say the 10? Do you think that's his best position?
I know he can play out on the wings. I know he can play either side or play all the way across the front 4. But he said his best position is the 10. That's where he likes to play and where he can be most effective. So that's where I would put him.
Pep plays him a lot on the wings, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Similar to Iniesta.
Yeah.
Because Iniesta could play that kind of 8 role or 10 role.
David Silva did the same, didn't he? He was played out on the wings, but
in his earlier, definitely, 100% for Valencia. Another player again who we've spoke about a tiny bit, Harry Maguire, probably our best player against USA, putting a solid display, won a lot of aerial duels, which we know as United fans is capable of. What happens to his United career if he continues to have a great tournament and goes far with England, let's say the semis or the final? What happens with Maguire? Does he still come back and sit on the bench?
Well, he's done this though, hasn't he? He performs well for England, but in a United shirt, it doesn't happen, does it?
Yeah.
He went to the Euros, ended up in the team in the tournament, came back to United and just shit the bed for 2 seasons. He just didn't perform, and he was given opportunity after opportunity under Ollie. Under Ollie, he wasn't dropped despite horrific performances. He was given an opportunity under Ten Hag the first 2 games against Brighton and Brentford. Again, completely awful. He was dropped, and then since then, Lissandro and Varane's been the preferred pairing. Obviously, Varane got injured against Chelsea, and we had Lindelof who came in, who I thought has done well. I thought he's done all right. And then Maguire had that brief cameo up front in the Europa League, which was fucking weird. And then he had some other stuff. Did he play in the League Cup? was it? Did he start in the League Cup?
Maguire
Yeah.
against who?
Who did we play? I went to the game.
In the League Cup?
Fuck, who did we play?
Villa.
Yes. Did he play? Did he start?
Aston Villa. I'm not sure.
Might have started.
I'm not sure on that. Yeah, I think you could be right, to be fair.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And he was all right, I guess. Like, he wasn't amazing. He was all right. So there seems to be no correlation between his United form and his England form. His England form has always been consistently good, and he's always done.
He did start. Sorry to think
yeah.
he did start.
Thought so. So yeah, he's always done consistently well for England, no matter what his club form doing. When he's playing well for United, he was doing well for England. When he's played shit for United, he's played well for England. So it doesn't seem to affect his form. So I don't think you can correlate the two really. I think he's going to be a part of the squad. I don't see him going in January. Like, I don't see anybody coming in for him in January. Like, I could be wrong. You never know.
God, they don't know with United these days. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Like, it could be tomorrow. He could drop an interview tomorrow, like Ronaldo did, and go, "That shit, I hate these." Like, he could do that.
Yeah. But somehow I don't think people would be as outraged.
No, definitely not. We're not doing a live stream of that shit. So, I think he sits on the bench for this season. He plays in the cup games, plays in Europa League, etc. And I think that's his United great. Summertime, don't know. He could well be sold, and then he could be used as funds for Ten Hag to get in a centre back that he wants and wants to play.
Yeah.
Because he clearly doesn't fancy him. Like, he clearly doesn't see him. So
I suppose the positive is the fact if he does do really well for England, maybe that's your time to cash in if it's ever possible. Like I said, I don't think a sale in January is possible, but if he plays really well, goes to get to a semi-final, plays well again, you have to hit it at that point when he's just come off from that, because other teams will look at that and think, right, he can do that for us in a different setup, different kind of environment. Maybe you can do that. Just a last question on Southgate before we get into the quick fire questions, Sam. Will this be his last tournament if he either fails to qualify or goes out early? Do you think they will drop the axe on him?
If he doesn't get past the last 16,
I think he's definitely gone.
Yeah, because you can't do semi-final, final, and then go out in the last 16 when arguably,
you're going backwards then.
When arguably your team has improved since then, and you've got better players in since then. You can't survive that.
What coach would you bring in?
Roy Hodgson went out, didn't he, after the Iceland loss?
That's so bad. That was so bad.
Yeah, you can't expect to stick around after that, after something like that.
What coach would you bring in? If Southgate was to go,
they seem to want to stick with the English theme, don't they? They don't seem to be wanting to be going down to foreign managers, so that kind of rules out a lot of managers I would pick. So
the last one was Capello, wasn't it? I think the last foreign manager.
And they just need to stick with the English thing. And who's the best sort of British English manager about it?
Well,
Eddie Howe. But he's not.
It would have been Potter.
Yeah.
But Potter's gone to Chelsea, so it's like
you got Eddie Howe. He's not leaving Newcastle for the England job. Potter, he's not leaving Chelsea for the England job at this point.
No.
And then who have you got after that?
I don't. Literally, the only other English coach I can think of, Bournemouth. Gary, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's actually done. Yeah, Gary O'Neill has actually done really well. Obviously, I wouldn't shout him for the England job.
They've not given the job though, have they, at Bournemouth?
No. Well, I think they have now. I think they've given him. Today I think it got announced.
Okay.
But yeah, there isn't a queue of English coaches.
The two best are in jobs that they're not going to leave. So
yeah.
I would look outside the English manager, but I don't think the FA are gonna do that. So
I think people might not like this take, but I really want Jose Mourinho. I really want Jose Mourinho in charge of England because I think he'd just get the job done. I think he knows what's what. He's got a great talent and crop of players to use there. He's street smart in these kind of games, and I think he'd be perfect. But again, I don't think that'd happen. I think these guys kind of look like Klopp, for example. I think Klopp would take the German job if it comes in the right kind of window. He's getting to that end of the cycle now with Liverpool. I think that could happen. So it's all about timing.
All German managers want to manage Germany at some point.
Yeah.
Like Thomas Tuchel's mentioned it in interviews. Hansi Flick left Bayern to go do it.
Exactly.
So like German managers, like they want to manage Germany. I wouldn't be. I don't want him at United, and I made that very clear. But Pochettino, I think, could be a good shout for England.
Yeah. He was on the commentary last night, wasn't he?
I'd be all right.
Pochettino, yeah.
I'd be all right with that. I'd be fine with Pochettino. As
Yeah, I like
manager.
that pick. Yeah, definitely.
He's worked with young talent, developed it at Southampton.
Kane worked with
Spurs.
Kane as well. Like
there you go. So I think there could be worse shouts than Pochettino.
100%. Right then, let's do the quick fire questions. Will Harry Kane score tomorrow?
I hope so. Hope so.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Does Foden or Rashford start?
Rashford probably not. Foden, I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Foden starts.
Yeah. Who goes through in the other game? So who do you think wins in the other game?
Ooh.
Iran looks all right, didn't they?
Yeah.
In fairness to him.
Politically, that's an interesting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Iran
I love that. Yeah. There was I don't know if you saw it. It was a thing with the press conference between one of the guys who worked for USA and an Iranian journalist. I think and he was going back and forth. I don't know if it was over, but Jesus Christ, already started.
That could get a bit spicy game, couldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I could see USA getting the job done, or maybe a draw. I can't see Iran beating them.
If it's a draw, then Iran would go through, right? If we beat Wales. Then Iran, because Iran are on
beat Wales
4 points.
4 points, yeah.
Yeah, so Iran just need a draw to go through.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I think USA would probably beat them, but I wouldn't be surprised at USA Iran draw either.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. Who do you think's been our best player so far?
First game Bellingham, second game Maguire.
Yeah. Two very different players there in their own right.
Second game, nobody played well except Maguire. He was the only one, so that's where you go.
I was a bit let down with the attackers, with Saka and Sterling. I was just like, don't know, they let me down a bit. Will we score more than 2 goals?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Are we doing score predictions now? Or are we doing it?
No, we'll. Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let's do score predictions now.
So I think it's going to be 2-1. But I think we're going to concede first. I think Wales score first.
Yeah. I think 1-0. I think it'll be a very tight, cagey game. I think we'll pip it. Again, I was going to ask a clean sheet, but obviously you've gone with a 2-1, so you don't think it's going to be a clean sheet there. Let's do predicted 11s then. Look, when we do predicted 11s with England, it's kind of like it's probably going to be the same team again.
Yeah.
But I've gone pretty much the same team. Pickford, same back 5, Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Rice, Bellingham, and Mount, and then Saka, Kane, and I think Rashford will come in because I think he's looked good most times when he's come on. Do you think the same or Foden instead?
I think Pickford, Walker, Maguire, Stones, Shaw, Bellingham, Rice, Foden, Saka, Sterling, Kane.
Foden, yeah, right, okay, interesting. I'd like to see Foden come in, just to have a start. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, give him an opportunity. Just give him an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. The guy's mad talented. Like him and Bellingham are 2 for the future. So yeah, I won't be against that at all. And this might sound a little bit mad to people, but if it was me personally going into this game, I would set up just against Wales in particular because I looked at him from a tactical perspective, and I would set up in a 4-3-3. I'd put Rashford, Sterling, and Saka up top. I'd press high up. I'd go for the high possession game. And you've got Wales have got strikers like Kiefer Moore and Gareth Bale. And Gareth Bale isn't quick anymore. He's at that age now. They're not going to hurt you in behind.
Set pieces, isn't it? It's going to be set pieces against them.
Just get all over him. Have the front 3 because they're quick players. All 3 of them are quick players. Rashford's capable of doing that job. And I think that'd be the best way. It's obviously not going to go like that.
No.
But if you need to go pragmatic, you can do that because you go 1-0 up then the emphasis is on Wales to come at you and you can just sit there and then hit them on the counter after that. That's how I would do it.
It's not a terrible idea. Like I'd be all right with that if Southgate wanted to do that. I'd be all right with that. That's not a problem for me.
But he's never going to drop Kane, is he?
Nah, that's not happening.
Never.
But yeah, the threat from Wales is going to be set pieces. Free kicks, corners, so we cannot give away free kicks anywhere near the box. We've got to limit the amount of corners we give away. You got to make sure Maguire is on the same form he was on against the USA. Just get his head on fucking everything because Kiefer Moore, he loves a header. He's a tall player as well, and he's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's
big guy. He's a big boy.
And you've got players who are capable of really good delivery in Bale and stuff like that. So you've got to be careful of that. So I think if we limit their set pieces and stuff like that, I think we should be able to keep them out. I think they do score, though. I think the occasion gets to England within the first 10 minutes. I think we concede a stupid goal within the first 10 minutes. And I think we start to sort of click together, and then our quality will show. But yeah, limited set pieces, that's key to that game.
Yeah. A couple of last things as well I want to mention. The battle between Harry Maguire and Kiefer Moore, I think that'll be going back and forth all game. I think Saka on the inside channel against like a Ben Davis, or I can't remember the other guy's name who plays for him. I think that'll be interesting. And I think if they bring Dan James on in the last kind of 20 minutes, if we're pushing for something, he can. I know we know him as United fans. He's not absolutely amazing, but we saw even the pace against United when he came on. He is quick. So that's something to keep an eye out for.
He did it for Fulham, didn't he?
Exactly.
He came on and
he scored.
Yeah, so he's definitely capable of it. Also, put pressure on their goalkeeper. It's their second choice keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd take shots at him. I'd put him under pressure in the box if you get a corner.
Yeah.
I'd like make him work, because he's not going to be like, obviously he's going to train, he's going to warm up, blah, blah, blah. But there's no substitute for like games, like game fitness.
Yeah.
Playing regular games, which he won't have done, obviously. So I think
might be a little bit cold.
Yeah, put pressure on him. Yeah. I think you might be able to. He might spill something. He might not quite get his hand to it, and something. So I think that's another good sort of pressure point to push on Wales.
100%. I think it's going to be a fascinating game tomorrow. And that concludes the preview for today, guys. Thank you to everyone watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like the video. We've got loads of World Cup content coming your way, and we're close to the knockout stages where memories are made, so make sure you stick with us for that. The good news is we will have a live watch along for the England game, our first one, so make sure you tune in for that. Going to be an explosive, exciting game, hopefully. Many twists and turns. Yeah, hopefully being the key word. Many twists and turns, obviously in the group, because everyone can still qualify pretty much. And for updates on Manchester United or England, general news and clips from our channel, make sure you check us out on social media. All the handles are at the bottom of the graphic, or the links are in the video description. Last thing, like I said at the start of the show, we've got 2 days left on our Movember campaign. Please get your donations in before it finishes. It's for a really good cause, and we have to walk around at least for another 2 days looking like this. So it's definitely worth a donation.
Really annoying at this point.
It is.
Really getting on my nerves. So.
Yeah. Whiskers. It feels like whiskers. It's really irritating. But we've got, like I said, 2 more days now. Hopefully we can hit our target of £200. We've raised 150 so far, so that'd be amazing. If any of you guys can donate or just share the page to your friends, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, Sam. If you have anything else to add, be my guest.
If you haven't got the link, the QR code is there in the corner. So just get your phone out, scan it, take you straight to the donation page. Makes it nice and easy for you. And yeah, check out all our content. There's stuff that is obviously match previews and reviews and stuff, but there's other stuff that's evergreen, which you can watch at any time. So please go check out that, like the England setup thing that me and Nick did. There's a squad tier list thing on there and stuff like that. So go check it out. It's all really good content, and we're trying to grow it to 1,000 subscribers. So help us do it. Yeah.
Getting there, absolutely. A couple off 800 now, so slowly but surely we are getting there. And thank you for today, Sam. Thank you to everyone. We will see you in the next one. Take care.
Peace.